All right. So we're going to start out, and we're getting ready to have you do some reading all by yourself, some independent reading, read to self time. And I want to talk to you about a standard that all third graders should be able to do. We say students should be able to read with sufficient accuracy and fluency to support comprehension. And the big word there I want you to think about is comprehension. That we make sure that when you're reading all by yourself, you're comprehending, you're understanding what you're reading, right? It's not very fun to read a book if we don't understand it. The part that I really want us to focus on with our strategy is this part. There's C. There's A, B, and C. C is the one I really want us to think about. And it's sort of confusing, so listen to it. It says, use context to confirm or self-correct word recognition and understanding, rereading as necessary. How many of you reread when you're by yourself? Like you reread a page. Oh, a few of us do. Good. So that means you're working on that because you're trying to figure out and make things make sense, and you're using your context, meaning the other words in the book, to help, or the pictures or other things that help us understand. So this strategy that we're going to learn and practice today is going to help us meet that standard. All right? So our strategy is, and I started with I can because you need to be able to do each of those things. Notice, think, and fix. So let's talk about the first one. Notice. What we're going to notice is when things go wrong. Like it doesn't make sense. Does this make sense?
Does it make sense?
Does it look right? Do you ever ask yourself those questions when you're reading? Whoa, wait a minute. I do that sometimes. I start reading a page and I get clear to the bottom and I think, I don't even know what this page said. I didn't learn anything from that.
Maybe sound like?
So we have to think about, does it sound right? Did that sound right? Good, thank you. That didn't make sense to me. I need to notice this. If I just keep reading on, am I going to miss maybe something the author really needed me to know and understand? So I've got to notice, pay attention. We have eyes there to help us pay attention when we're reading. So when we can answer this and say, no, it didn't sound right, something's wrong with what I just read, we need to stop and think. What kinds of tools do we have in our toolbox that might help us?
None.
You don't have any toolbox? Oh, I think we do. We've got a whole bunch of things in our toolbox that we could use. What's something you might do when we have to stop and think, well, what could I do? What's something I could do?
You could think, why did the author write this, and what, did he do a mistake or something?
I have to ask why the author wrote this. Why am I reading this? What are they talking about? So I have to think about what's happening there. What else might I?
You could go back and read it.
Oh, I might reread it. Sometimes just a reread helps me put the words back in my head and be thinking more about it. So I'm going to maybe reread. What else might I do?
Ask yourself, what will I do, and why?
To fix it up? Yes. What will I do? What's another idea of what I could do? I could ask why. I could reread. What else might I need to do?
Maybe
Okay. What else could she do?
if something doesn't make sense, like you don't know what the word is or something, you could just get online and go back to it.
Okay. So I need to figure out which word, though, is causing me trouble, right? So if I have a word, I need to find the word, and then I might skip and read on. Then do I ever come back to it?
Yes. Once you're done with the next sentence, you come back to it.
And then I come back to it and think, okay, now do I know what that word either means, or could I figure out what the word is? So that's really using our context, isn't it? Reading on and thinking about that. Now you have an idea? Okay.
If you don't know
Yeah, that helps us, doesn't it? When we read on and then go back. What else might we do if we don't know the word?
Sound it out.
We might sound it out. What else might we look for? What if we don't have to sound out every part? Do you ever look at words and think, I know a word that looks like that? So we might think about word parts. Okay, so we have a whole bunch. You might even have others that you can help me add to this poster later. When you're reading today, you're going to be thinking about, what am I going to do to fix this up? So if you're in a situation you think, oh, Mrs. Lake didn't put that up on the chart, we could add it later. Because we have lots of strategies. We've been learning them since we first started picking up books and reading them. So if you've got more. Then we have to decide what we're going to do. How are we going to fix up our problem? We're going to pick one. I'm just going to write pick one for now. Pick one of those to try. What if it doesn't work? We're going to have to notice it, that it didn't work, think about maybe a different strategy, and try again, right? So we might use more than one strategy, but we have to try one way, right? First. I'm going to show you some books I have and model, and you're going to watch and see. I'm going to try to use notice, think, and fix in my reading today. And I also have a bookmark that I'm going to give each one of you. So as I'm reading, I have this here, and look at it. It's a really simple one. It says notice, think, and fix, and it has a tab on it for you. So I'm going to have that by me when I'm reading, because sometimes I keep reading and I don't notice. That's the hardest thing, isn't it? We just keep reading the words and we don't really notice that we've messed up. So we have this bookmark to help remind you.
We've already seen this book.
You have seen this book? Awesome. Okay, well, I haven't. Mrs. Les just pulled it off the shelf and said, you should do this. So I just opened up to the middle. Okay, so I'm going to read it, and this is the first time I've read it. And this is like I'm at my independent reading time. I can't get help from you, can I? Because I'm independent. I'm reading all by myself. Nope, no helping, because you're reading your own books. Okay, here I go. The smell of hot tar and garbage bullies the air as I climb the steps to Jackie Joyce's porch. Jackie Joyce, I breathe, pressing my nose against her screen. I don't really know what's happening here. At first I thought we were talking about bullies. I feel like I don't like the way that sounded. Like I didn't make it sound like the author wants it to sound. It's not right. Chloe's agreeing with me. She's giving me a frown face. I think that didn't sound right at all, right? I think, though, when I go back, this is one that we don't have up here. I really need to pay attention to that punctuation. I think the author wants me to say it like I'm talking. And I wasn't really talking. I was just reading the words. Do you agree with me? Just reading the words. I want to make it sound like I was talking. So I'm going to try again. I notice I've got some quotation marks, a question mark. Okay. And I don't feel like the word bullies is in here like a bully like I think of. I think it's more something I need to think about the smell. Okay, I'm going to read it again. The smell of hot tar and garbage bullies the air as I climb the steps to Jackie Joyce's porch. Jackie Joyce, I breathe, pressing my nose against her screen. Oh, now I get it. That garbage was really stinky. But she's climbing the stairs. She's just going to call on her friend. This author uses a lot of descriptive language. I'm going to have to pay attention, aren't I, to what she's using. But I think that I just had a new strategy is I needed to pay attention to that punctuation to really help with how I read it. And I didn't really mess up on any words, did I? But I really wasn't reading it right to make it make sense. Do any of you have books like that where you really need to think about how the author would be saying it or the characters would be talking? Any of you have books like that where characters are talking? That might be a strategy that you try. Now, this book, nonfiction. How many of you are reading some nonfiction books? Few? Not very many? Okay. Real facts. Okay. A cool drink of water. I'm just going to look at this one page. Plastic jugs. Caravan cans, a cool drink of water. Wait a minute. I'm not sure if I did that. I'm going to notice this word right here. I'm not sure about that. I see car. I see I see van. If I put it in. So I'm thinking, that's not a word I use very much. I'm thinking caravan. I've noticed I can put it together, and I've maybe heard somebody say something about a caravan. Caravan cans, plastic jugs, caravan cans, a cool drink of water. And I see the plastic jugs in this picture here, but I'm also, remember, I'm independent reading, Kim. I'm all by myself. I have to figure this out by myself. I'm noticing. Now I'm thinking caravan cans, but I see this picture of camels walking together, carrying something. And now I'm thinking, I might remember caravan if we were, I remember us saying, I was going on a trip with people, we had a lot of cars, and we were saying, let's go as a caravan. I didn't really know what that meant. But now I see all these camels walking together, and they're all together walking, and I'm wondering if that's the caravan. Caravan cans. That picture helps me. I'm thinking I'm on the right track with that. You might want to check that out later, but I feel like that picture really helped me out a lot. How did I help myself? What was my strategy here? I was thinking. What did I use? Anybody know? Kim.
You sounded out the word part.
I did sound it out. I used my word parts. What's something else I used that we didn't talk about? Yeah, I'm thinking about what the picture is showing me. Usually authors put those pictures in there sometimes to help me out, right? Okay. Now, we want to see if you guys can use this strategy of notice, think, fix. How many people think they can do it? So when you're off reading today, if you have the opportunity and you need to stop and think and fix something up to make it make sense for you, to comprehend. Remember, our big goal, I'm going to underline this word, is comprehension. Did you understand what you were reading? So, you all have a couple books in your book box, 3 books, I hear, in your book box. So, if you feel like one book is better for you to practice this strategy, one that gives you some struggle maybe, one maybe you keep putting aside because you're thinking, it's kind of hard. That'd be a perfect one, wouldn't it, for notice, think, and fix, to practice your strategy. So you know how to go off and do your independent reading self-time, right? When you get your bookmark, I want you to go and get your books and find yourself a comfy place to read. I might come visit with you. Some of the other adults in the room might come visit with you and see how are you using this strategy and is it helping you with your reading, okay? That's what we're looking for. So when you get your bookmark, you're going to go and get your books and get yourself comfortably reading, okay? Comfortable reading, yes. Nope. There's a sticky tab to mark if you found a place. If you found a place that you got to use our strategy, please use the tab to mark it in your book. Sorry, Logan, I thought you had one.
Thank you.
Good job, Kaylin.